Hey guys, it's Roscoe, and on the Space Couch today I have a SpaceX update for you. And that update is they are now certified by the US military to launch classified payloads, satellites, that X-37 and God knows what else. Now, while this is a very big deal in that it breaks the launch monopoly of the United Launch Alliance for classified payloads, it's going to be a little while before we start to see some true disruption, I think. Remember, ULA won that 36-core contract last year, so there's going to be many launches over the next several years that still can't be competed. However, for launches that are being competed going forward, SpaceX will expect to win a lot of business. I mean, obviously they won't win everything, because you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket if you don't want to, especially as that is the situation the US military has been in for the last several years already. Plus the fact there's going to be a lot of institutional inertia behind ULA and its military political allies. So they will continue to win some launches, even if the cost is high. Although, obviously, cost is not one of the major considerations for the military. Assured access to space is. They will pay whatever it costs to get their stuff up there, whether that's 100 million from SpaceX or 400 million from ULA. They expect you to get it up there. That is the important part. However, now, once that 36-core rocket contract has worked its way through the system over the next several years, then we can expect to see greater disruption to ULA's business plan. As more and more contracts are competed for, that sliding scale, as it were, will probably move from ULA domination to either a roughly equal split in the short to medium term, or to SpaceX domination. That'll be more slightly longer term, I expect. Now, SpaceX say that the added costs required for classified launches would raise their prices by, at most, I think it's 50%. So, a Falcon launch, I think the standard price is $60 million. This would make it $90 million, or thereabouts, you know. I mean, there's always a few little extra things that the military require, and that always increases your costs. So even if it is $90 million or $100 million or thereabouts, that is more expensive than a standard launch, but it isn't 4 or 5 times more expensive like ULA launch would be. Now, ULA, they have gotten about 90 successful launches over the course of their history. About 75% of that are, say, military classified launches. Now, obviously, that is an excellent success ratio, launch ratio to have. But even the US military and the Senate want to, well, have a handful of exceptions. I'm sure people like Richard Shelby or whoever would much rather just hand over money to the contractors. But they should be paying less per launch, you know. Hence this long and winding road to certification for SpaceX. And it has taken a long time, a very long time it seems. So it's been at least a year. I think it could have been going on for much longer. Now then, so basically the disruption of the space launch industry is continuing. In due course, there are going to be other companies, I expect, that are certified for classified launches. But for the foreseeable future, it's going to be ULA and SpaceX. We could, of course, see ULA drop by the wayside at some point if they're unable to compete for commercial contracts because of SpaceX undercutting them so much due to the use of reusable rockets and better cost control. And then if they start losing the major part of their military contracts, you know, well, like I said in other videos about ULA, dinosaur asteroids. Obviously, they are working on the Vulcan with the Blue Origin engines that will hopefully be detached and be reusable. And that would be great if that works out. That will be a route out of this mess for them. That will bring their costs down and they'll be able to compete on a more level playing field. Although that is a playing field that has been levelled by Elon Musk. So I would suggest to you, where would the advantage lie on that playing field? How will ULA compete in that new competitive environment, as it were? Now, like I say, if the Vulcan's a success, you know, detachable, catchable engines notwithstanding, and I really do hope that those work, by the way. I just think that process is a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. Could maybe the engines fight and land themselves, rather than having to get caught by a parachute in midair? I don't know. I would hope that they can be reused, definitely. I don't want people to think that I hate ULA, I just think they're behind the times. Now, if they do manage to work on those reaction engines, what am I saying? Those recoverable engines that will get their costs down, although probably not to the scale that SpaceX have gotten their costs down. But if they do manage to create a workable, reusable tech, you know, then, oh, what could that be? A golden age of rocketry. And we all want that, don't we? I mean, there's so many of these rocket companies. Seems like there's another one mushrooming every week, or at least I'm doing a video on a new company every week. Anyway, guys, that was just an update on SpaceX and how they are now certified for those classified launches. More grist to Elon's mill, you know? I mean, it'll be fantastic. The more launches he gets, more development for future rockets. Fantastic stuff. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or a suggestion for a topic you'd like to see discussed. And why don't you hit that like button?